What's up, guys? It's Cuddlecraft back with another Napoleon Total War video. So, this video is a multiplayer battle. I finally found one. It was like, I would have 30 minutes to find, like, just waiting for a multiplayer battle to come up, or, like, to be playable. Well, I mean, for, like, a game to be full and actually play a multiplayer battle, and then I just go to AI. But finally I found this one quick too. I've gotten a multiplayer battle, so I'm teamed up with the Ottoman Empire, and we are facing the Russians and the Prussians. We're facing the Shins, or Howard Shins, not Shins. Ussians. We're facing the Ussians. It's a very weird team. You usually wouldn't. That's not historically accurate, but it is multiplayer. Nobody really cares about accuracy, and neither is this. This would be a realistic team either. Now, this would be a realistic face-off. These face-offs, they would be technically the Ottoman Empire and the Russians, not the best of friends. The French and the Prussians, not the best of friends. So, the way me and my ally, we didn't really know what we were gonna do at the start. We were pretty sure we would group up in the center. I could like march my troops in a sort of column down this road to increase their speed, and then he could just move his troops through this bridge and up this road, and then he could cross his troops over and meet me like right here probably. But we decided that they heavily outnumber us in this fight. You can like tell they have a bunch of like so much infantry over here. They didn't bring much cav. The Prussians didn't bring much cav. The Prussians, I think, only had two. Yeah, the Prussians only had 2 regiments of cav, right? 3. They had 3. And I was bringing, let's see, I was bringing about 6, 5. I was bringing 5 again. I was gonna play Sweden. We decided not to. You can go ahead and do normal speed here. And the audio is like kind of glitched out, so the the max on everything, on all the audio, is really low, really quiet. So that's why the sound used to be broken, but then I fixed it, and like now it's just really quiet. But I'm gonna do a clear white where you go into your folder, your Napoleon Total War folder, you delete all of the stuff in there, and then you reinstall Napoleon. So he's moving up some rifles. We decided we should just guard the bridge. He kept on telling me to guard the bridge, and I thought he meant he would guard the bridge over there and I would guard the bridge over here, but no, he meant like we both stick together. So it took us a little bit to finally like realize, or it took me a little bit to realize that's what he meant when I asked if I should come over, and he said yeah. So it's gonna be a little bit, and really the first parts of this battle, there's not much fighting. What I tried to do was I tried to bait the Prussians into pushing aggressive over here, and then just fall back and like skirmish him. That's what I was really thinking when I finally decided to move over. So right now it's just a waiting game, so we can go ahead and put it on like the first forward setting Just kind of wait, see the battle, look at the battlefield. Let's get a zoom in on this map. So you can see what we're trying to do here. Let me just skip over here. We're trying to basically hold out in this area, because there's really only 3 places where they can come from, or 4. This back here, this side, well, back here, this side, this bridge, and this land bridge. There's a land bridge right here. You can see on the real map. Here's the land bridge, it's right there, and they can come in from this side. So really what my plan was, well, what me and my ally were thinking, why don't I just move all my troops over here, and we can hold at these 4 choke points and make it easier instead of having to hold at all of these choke points all split up. And look at this. The Prussians have split up their army. So I'm trying to tell my ally, why don't I push hard on this side and then I can fall back over. But we both decided just for me to fall back. And we can hold. We've got a pretty good little area of defense. We've got this place right here, this bridge, a nice choke point. There is a land bridge right here, and then there's the actual bridge. So he's got some hidden rifles. He's playing the Ottoman Empire, if you couldn't tell. His artillery is 12-pounder foot artillery, and it's focusing down my artillery à cheval, which is basically horse artillery. We can go ahead and play it to hear the artillery. They're gonna fire. Oh, they're out of range. I forgot. So I was basically just sitting here. And I'm moving, you can see I'm moving my general, and I've got some dragoons with him just to kind of like guard him. I'm moving my general back here so we can be safe behind our lines. Just barely getting out of the city before the Prussians arrive. But yeah, we're safe for sure. But you can see right here I formed up. Here's my formations right now. This was like my first formation just when I started to fall back with my ally. You can see I've got some pretty elite cav. These are the best French cav. The carabiners. So I've got a formation right here. I've got these guys I was really just trying to have like a guard kind of to guard the retreat. Like guard all the cav retreating. I have some cav right here just in case they like go for a cav charge. You can see I stopped my militia, and now I'm gonna move them any second now. I'll move them back here, I'm pretty sure. We'll see. If you ever play this game and you want to know how to use this thing, you just have to hold down the space bar. So I'm falling back. My cav. We're trying to just group up. My plan in the beginning was I told my ally we should probably just group up. And then the reason I pushed up through the city was because he said just to forget about grouping up, and I can fight the Prussians and he can fight the Russians. But then we changed our mind after we saw that the Prussians were heavily flanking on this side. They kind of left their Russian ally. Yeah, they do have a few regiments over here, but we could both just team up on Russia, and Prussia would be all the way over there. like we could both, I could push through this land bridge and like this area right here. He could cross the bridge and this area too. And we'd be head on. Like Russia has his 17th Jaeger regiment right there. Like we could pretty easily, I was trying to tell my ally that, but he wasn't having any of it. He just said we should probably sit back and let them come to us. So he's pushing a lot of just musketeers. He's got some cav, a howitzer, but he's mainly pushing musketeers over here. And rifles, Schlesien Schützen. Yeah. He's got some Brandenburg Uhlans. Those are pretty sick uniforms, I must say. That like navy blue kind of. Pretty good. And now I'd say he's like basically taken the city. He's right there, and there's no resistance. I think this is the Battle of Arkle. I think this is the map for that. So I'm forming up. You can see I'm gonna push my lights in right here. Probably a bad idea considering his lights are hidden. And if I push my lights up and the artillery focuses them, it could hit potentially other lights, but I figure that out later. You have the Brave again. They've survived, they've pushed through, and now they're holding and really guarding. I don't know what they're guarding. I'm gonna have them, you can see I'm like tightening my formation a little bit. Eventually I'm gonna start falling these guys back. He gets a nice hit with his artillery on that side. But all of them get up. So not that bad. His 12-pounder foot artillery is just wrecking my lines. Like, it's bad. This is pretty overpowered, but the rules were no unicorns, so that's why the Russians aren't bringing unicorns. Because I'm gonna go ahead and minimize that. Because if they did, we'd be in trouble. I'm pushing up my artillery because they were just out of range. I'm gonna try and shell his push. But the weird thing about this artillery, I think it's a 4-pounder. I'm not. Ooh, he gets a nice hit on. He breaks a cannon. I think that Artillerie Cheval is a 4-pounder, but it's like faster with since it's lighter. Because it had bad range. Like, I don't even think it was a 6-pounder range. Like, it was a small range. But that's a trade-off for also the crew is better, better at melee. They have some nice hats. I like that hat design. I use my barrage ability here for artillery. It basically makes them fire faster. But now I'm limbering up. And I'm gonna move back. This is a really weird glitch, but I mean, even if you don't have a cannon destroyed, one of the horses is always left behind. I don't know. I think it might be like a trade-off, but they forgot to patch it or fix. It's supposed to be in the game, but they didn't have just 3 cannons. They had 4. But basically the first cannon is in a fixed position. But we've already lost a cannon in these, so it's fine. We're pushing. We have kind of this, like, this gap right here. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, because it means I can have, you can see I'm falling my troops back. I'm sending my artillery back here. I'm moving my infantry to form up right here as a reinforcement. And then I'm gonna move my chasseur to be in front of the brave. You can see a ricochet right there. He has howitzers now in range. They're shelling my, I don't know how these guys aren't hidden, but these guys are. I don't know why that is. That's really weird, but his howitzer is shelling my guys. He has some janissaries, which are melee troops. They only have swords. He's also got, he has some elites. I don't know where they are. All these are the same infantry. He does have some elites somewhere. Oh, right here, I bet. Yeah, grenadiers. Why did I say grenadiers? Yeah, I'm falling back. Just barely. The Prussians are about to cross the land bridge. He's moving up some rifles. They don't know if I have troops hidden in the city. I mean, I could have troops like hidden right in these bushes. That probably would have been a pretty good idea, because then out of nowhere he could have been pushing through this bridge, and then just all of a sudden I have like 2 line infantry surround them, and then I push aggressively here and just trap them and slowly just whittle away at their numbers. He's starting to really shell our position. His guys aren't really getting shelled at all. And right here, it was pretty interesting. These guys, they were hidden when they got down. When they knelt down, they became hidden. Once these guys pass, they should become hidden. You see, these guys are like out of formation. I think they have to get into formation. Here they go, they're hidden. Some howitzer shells coming overhead. Ooh, he's just barely missing my infantry, but they're hidden. And eventually I saw this and I was like, I had an idea. I was like, well, if I move my troops back right here, and then that just makes it seem like my line is right here. So then the Prussians get in range of these guys, which are hunters, or like their name is hunters, and they're skirmishers, so they have longer range. The Prussians get in range. These guys will shoot at them, and then I'll run these guys up. I'll push these guys up. Because when these guys are crouching, the bullets from these guys go overhead. I know I'm saying a lot of these guys, sorry. So, you can have this formation and not get any friendly fire. So, that's what I'm doing here. I am going to follow these guys back to about right here. And then the chasseurs will shoot. My guys will run up and give them support from any cav charges or just extra gun support. So I think we should just fast forward through this. We are about to get to the start of the battle, but ooh, nice cannon. cannon shot, whatever. He just barely misses my lines, and the cannonballs ricochet over him. So we kind of have this weird formation where we're surrounded, and I was trying to tell my ally this, that we can't, they could have so many troops line up right there, but we can't, and we don't want to push up right here, because then their artillery can get a nice side hit. You can see my troops are back here. They can get a nice side hit and knock out our troops. But if our troops are back here, then the artillery is just going to focus his artillery, which is a pretty bad target because it's hard to take out. I know I'm saying that as they're getting destroyed, but they've been under siege for a while. So really, we just have to wait and hope for the best. And I was thinking the whole time, I need to be careful. I need to be quick falling back, because I'm just going to try and get a couple volleys, and then I need to fall back. And I tried to tell my ally this, that I'm going to fall back in a few right when they attack, I'm going to fall back in a few seconds. I'm reforming my men. I'm pushing my cav back. My artillery is going after these guys, these lights. These guys are just out of range, and it's so annoying. So now my artillery, I tell my artillery to shoot at this dirt, because it started to target these guys, and I don't want to get any friendly fire, because the artillery is like really inaccurate sometimes, and I didn't want to get friendly fire. So what I'm doing is I'm just holding their fire, waiting for these guys to get in range. Now I have some troops over here to guard the flank, just in case, because I saw these guys moving over. I also have my dragoons guarding my general, and I didn't see this coming. Well, I kind of saw this coming, but the Russians over here, I said, Russians pushing, and then the guy said, my ally said, don't worry, my lights will get him, and I'm like, I don't see your lights. And then I realized he's talking about the bridge, because I said Russians pushing right, because it's like a text thing. It's like a texting chat, kind of. So I didn't have time to type out everything, because I had to move my troops over. So I'm moving even more. With these guys, I'm pushing these guys behind the hill, so the artillery can't get a good angle on them. And I realized that he thought I meant the hill, but I don't know why he would think that, because I guess he thought I was talking about these Jaegers. But then I said no, far right past bridge, and then he realized he said he just looked at the Russians. So now I'm forming up right here. I'm gonna hold in this choke point and really just like try and hold as long as possible and buy time. It was just now that I told him that they were past the bridge. So he's sending his cav over. I'm sending my cav over right here. He's also sending his infantry. I'm keeping my infantry here to reinforce any breaks in the line. And this was a really big problem, and this is a problem if you try and like play really defensive. They get so many flanks. Honestly, we shouldn't have pushed up here. We could have held right here, and it would have been much better. Because now we're far away from any reinforcements. So if we have to fall back, we can't fall back to any other lines. And even though he's moving these troops up, and it may seem like we outnumber them, but they have so many more troops. And meanwhile, all this was happening, the Prussians are pushing. They're moving through this land bridge, and now we've got ourselves in a situation where we constantly have to go back and forth from this end to this end of the map. And I feel like he probably should have seen that coming, considering there's this huge land bridge. He said we can just guard bridges, and I'm like, but there's land bridges everywhere, and there's even one on the right flank and like this area. So I'm just holding right here. He's sending in some reinforcing line infantry. I was up here, but then I had to fall back because I wanted to fall back a little bit and try and just stay in skirmishing range. Because I do outnumber him in skirmishers. You can hear the sound of the muskets. So I like kind of clump up my troops a little bit more so he can stretch out his troops and try and get some flanking fire on these musketeers. We do get a nice volley. I realize my infantry isn't as close as they could be, so I move them up a little bit more. And now I'm going to fight. They are just out of range. We are destroying his Jaeger just because there's 120 of them, but they're not really meant for closer range battles because these are rifles. These guys are rifles, but these guys are just like, I think these guys are rifles, but they have bayonets on them, so they're much less accurate, and it doesn't let you shoot as far. And right here, nothing really happening. The Prussians are just trying to form up a push. My guys are still hidden, which is good, and I am preparing to charge my cabin because I know these two troops can't hold back those many Prussians. So I realize he doesn't have any cav, and his infantry, yeah, they're right there, but if I can force micro on some other point, like over here, which I realize in a few seconds I'll push my troops up over here. He'll have to micro on these two fronts as well. So kind of trying to counter my ally charges his cabin, hold that thought. Pretty successful, honestly. It didn't really need to get that many kills, but now we have time to push in because his infantry is in square formation, which isn't going to hold in a line battle. So I'm pushing up, and I think my troops aren't in range, but we get a nice volley on his lights with my lights. And my ally is really just like sticking with me with those two infantry. I've got reinforcing infantry just so when these lines inevitably break, because he still has so many troops. He's just trying to skirmish us down, and he's doing a pretty good job. Like, we've lost a lot of troops just fighting his like tiny force. Over here, I think we're about to have the first volley. No, we've already missed it, but he wasn't expecting that because you could see he's out of formation, which is good for me. Because you can see I'm moving my National Guard up just to be a reinforcing force. But very soon I'll charge my cabin. He'll have no way to counter it. Because look at this, his infantry is so far behind that he can't run them up and then form a square. It'll be too late. By the time he gets them there, he won't have time to form a square before the cab is there. So I'm just trying to skirmish them. But I've already taken so many casualties with these chasseurs, so they're not going to do too well. So really, it's just a matter of time. I've got my cabs so close. They're about to charge in. I don't know why I didn't see this sooner. Have the most elite cav, the carabiners. I've got, I think the Brave, no, they're still out of range. It's just a skirmish battle right now. And, oh my gosh, it's so close. Let's check with the battle over here. Nothing really happening. I'm pushing up. Pushing my lights up too. I'm pushing hard because he doesn't have any lights. I routed his Jaeger. So now I just have to get my lights in range and out skirmish him. He doesn't have any lights over here. Or so I thought. And then his Jaeger comes out of nowhere. I think we have a cav charge over here. You can see I'm pushing my troops up over here. Yep, here we go. I'm pushing my troops up on this side to try and force micro out of him. So he sees those. And he, like, I'm walking my cav right now just to buy time for my troops to get in range. He sees those. But by the way, we're the red. If you see red, that's us. The Russians get a nice cav charge on his rifles over here, and they can start sending infantry over here. And honestly, if I were the Russians, I would have made a mad dash for right here. Try and just get right here. Try and, like, break this cav. Because then when you do that, he has us trapped. He just has to push really aggressively right here. And then he's, like, basically beating us. Because he can just watch as we crumble. I don't know. His Jaegers are hidden again. Even though, like, I know they're here. I just can't see them. We've got the cav charge. The cav is running in to just destroy his lights. I do turn off fire at will, and I just use this to fall back. Like, I need to fall back here. I cannot keep holding up that fight. With 2 cav units, we definitely will break these lights. They have no counter to us. They can't form square or anything, so we're, like, guaranteed to break them. You can see the artillery shooting at this area right here. And now I'm falling my troops back. I'm trying to keep them fresh because I want to keep using them in a fight. You can see kind of, like, out of formation here. One of the cav units broke because he formed square. And now I wanted to punish him for this. He turns his infantry to move, but my troops were trying to form like this, and then you can see I'm punishing him for that, but then he routes my cav and he can just turn. Nothing really happening on this side. On the other side, the Russians are outflanking my troops hard. My lights are routing. I'm not paying attention. I'm paying attention to this side over here where all this is happening. And then in a few seconds, I'll run them away. Or I'll fall back. Yeah, they're just getting gunned down. These guys especially, because look at this. There we go. I'm falling back. That's crazy. And the Ottomans are turning to face the Russians over here. He's got this really clumped up formation, which is bad because it means the Russians don't have to, like, the Russians just have to aim in this general direction and they're basically guaranteed to kill because of how many lines it goes back. But if you're in, like, a really thin line, he can't, it's harder for them. They have to have actual aim. I am just holding right here, just buying time for this flank to push up, and I was trying to outflank them by this point, but he was smart. He left some musketeers in the back to guard, just to buy time, really. I've got the Brave in this, like, face off here. My lights are shattered. I'm running my National Guard back, and now look at this. I have nothing to face this push. He's routed my lights. He's damaged the Brave heavily. I've got all my troops over here. This was really my fault. You can see the Swiss foot routed wherever they were. There they are. They routed. They got shattered. And I've just got this line of depleted units and 1 healthy unit, but 2 depleted units to this just humongous, like, 2 kind of depleted units and 2 really strong units. So it's gonna be hard. I've got these guys are about to be in range. Like, I'm just waiting for these guys to form up, and then I can move my lights into range. But he's got lights waiting. My National Guard are routing. It's to be expected. They're militia. And really, all I have holding here is my artillery. Only my artillery is holding here. So they're just out of canister shot range. And he knows it because I'm firing round shot. He knows by the way I'm playing that I would know about canister shot. And so it's just out of range with canister shot. They're finally in range, but they're not in range for long. Get a nice cannonball hit right there. He just gets a nice outflanking maneuver. And over here, I'm focusing on this side, because you can see I'm falling my troops back, and I charged my cabin, and I swear I told them to run, but they're just walking. So, they're just gonna die without gaining anything. Yeah, look at that. They weren't running. There they go, because they're like really close, but he formed square. And what I should have done is I should have gotten these guys out of there, but no. Square stops them. They're routing. He does have some rifles over here. I don't know what he's doing. He should have just saved these guys for the last stand. I think I could have held and bought time for him to face this Russian, but he's just sitting here. He needs to push this Russian infantry because he outnumbers them. Yeah, he heavily outnumbers them, but he's just sitting there letting all the other forces die. And he's turned his troops over here to face Prussians. Over here, I'm in a small gun battle with his forces. I don't know what this was. This was Prussians charging in this way. I guess he was going for the artillery. Yeah, I think he was going for the artillery. I don't know what he was doing. It could have just been a misclick. The National Guard come back. You can see I've moved my dragoons. They're not guarding the general anymore. Right here, he's flanking around. These Russian Jaegers were annoying to play against because they were hidden. So, when I thought he only had line infantry, so I pushed hard, and then his Jaegers could just wipe out my depleted lights. And right here, I should have fallen back, but I didn't. I was focused on the other part of the battle. And this is like a last stand. I'm trying to get him to bring more forces over this way. But then I realized there's no hope. I've got to fall back because he's destroying this flank and we need reinforcements on the other side, so I've just got to fall back. I've got my Polish Legion. We're falling back on this side. I'm just trying to have a last stand. I should have fallen back my artillery sooner because they're still not in canister shot range, and he's just gonna push hard on this side because he knows not to push on this side because he's just gonna get destroyed by artillery. And if we push up, we're just gonna get friendly fire. These guys are hidden, so I don't know why that was keeping his troops over here from pushing. I'm running my troops back because we need reinforcements. These troops could decide the battle, honestly. If we could get them in this fight right here, we could knock out this Prussian force. I'm falling my troops back even further. I feel like that cav charge kind of lost the battle for us. It was just such a sloppy charge. I think an artillery, a ricocheted cannonball, or it could have been a bullet that was just really off target. But something went near our general, my general. Now walking my troops because I don't want them to be too tired. His general is pretty close, but they didn't get attacked. He's charging his cabin. I see this a little bit later, and I charge my National Guard in. You can see right there, but I forgot about my cav here, and it's until later then I charge them. And he charges his general in too, so pretty helpful. The way he charged his general in, because that really boosted the morale on my artillery. And I don't know what this was, but my artillery started shooting. Look at that. So much friendly fire. And I told them to stop. I had to limber them up so they would stop. And I needed to anyways. Well, actually, no, but then my cav gets a little bit too aggressive. I'm falling back. I don't know why he didn't fall back these troops. He could have fallen the back, but now I'm pushing my troops over here to have a pretty nice line right here. This side, nothing's really happening. He's just kind of skirmishing. I don't know why I don't know why my ally is just waiting here. If he had pushed, because now he can move as many troops as he wants over here, because the Prussians have this under control. And he has extra reinforcements over here. He can push as many troops as he wants over on this side, and now my ally is outnumbered, because these Janissaries, what my ally should have done, bayonet charge these 2 regiments to soak up the ammo, and that'll let the Janissaries get in range. But he never ended up using these until like the last second. So you can see he's got a nice flanking fire, but honestly, if these guys rout, it doesn't really matter. They still outnumber us a lot. He gets a nice flanking volley on these guys, and these guys are gonna make it out. I'm just kind of skirmishing them a little bit. I'm really, right now, he needs to be getting kills. He's falling back as Janissaries. He could win this fight. He could win this fight if he charged all of these units in. He could win that fight easily. But now he's not. I'm a little bit out of formation here. I'm forming up next to my artillery. I've got all my troops here. He gets in range with canister, but immediately falls back and just pushes hard on this flank. Which is bad, because my center force is in this flank, and I only have this regiment. They fought well. I'm falling them back. You can see him. These guys have really they deserve to go home, honestly. They fought hard. Right here, he's routed. These guys they're shaken, but their morale's in the red. They're about to waver though, and once they start wavering, they're gonna break. He's got some rifles over here, my ally does, but they're facing the wrong direction, and then they get volleyed once, and now they're shattered. These guys get a chevron, which kind of boosts their morale a little bit. And look at this. He's firing at them. They outnumber him in a gunfight, but he did outnumber them in a melee fight. Look at that. And now look at what he's doing. He's charging them in without any kind of shield. A big mistake there. I don't want to be mean, but kind of a mistake. Because now, look at this. He can just fall back, run away, and nothing's going to come out of that. And now the artillery can shell these guys. Look at that. He got a nice hit on them right there. And now it's just a last stand. It's just to get as many kills as possible before the round is over. They heavily outnumber us. They surround us. These guys, I'm just holding them at this tree line right here. Kind of. I should be holding them at this tree line, because then they have like a hill advantage. If I had 3, and now the Prussians, look, they're pushing on this side. I try and turn my artillery over here, but they just won't turn. They just don't turn. And I'm falling my cav back, but I don't know what that is. I've tried to fall them back over here, but they didn't listen. And now you can see my artillery is trying to fight these guys, but it's not working. I have to fall my troops back even over here. One of the artillery pieces are routing. They're done with fighting. These guys rout. And these guys are about to rout. Sorry if my voice sounded like an alien. These guys are about to rout. These Fusiliers. These guys fought well. They held all the way from here and back. People over here fought well that I had. The Brave, they fought amazing. They held this point for such a long time. If we had executed this right, the best way I think to have fought this, you can see I'm falling back over here while I'm about to. The Polish Legion still have high morale. I don't know if I would if I were to see a Russian horde literally right in front of me. They get in a bit of a melee. These guys are still steady, but these guys get in a bit of like a melee fight, and then they're like, oh, we should probably just quit this. He full-on bayonet charges, but then he falls back. The general is falling back. He moves, or in a few seconds, he's gonna cut he cuts these guys away to attack my general, and I'll move my general later. But right now, just a heated fight right here. He has a there goes the Janissaries right there. What a useless charge. What did they do? Not much. It's really just fallen Frenchmen over here. The Allied general died. I think it was artillery that got him. Oh no, he charged in to these musketeers. He did rout the musketeers, but the general died. You can see these guys are shattered, and right here my troops are basically back to back. I need to follow. I'm following these guys back a little bit. Here's where the artillery was. My Fusiliers over there are routing. You can see I'm moving my general out of there. And just what a way to go for this battle. They just have so many troops. And I don't think my ally really knew how to play the Ottoman Empire. And now I have one Polish legion holding against 4 healthy Russian musketeers. And some Jaegers and even more musketeers in the back. It's not going to end well. These guys are just heavily outflanked. My lights, these guys also fought really well. They've held for a while. And some of my troops are out of ammo. These guys are out of ammo. Or they might have a few more shots. No, they're out of ammo. I'm charging them in just to buy time. My troops over here, they're getting outflanked. They're surrounded. And there's no hope. I'm trying to charge these guys in, but he just has musketeers waiting for them. And now it's just this last stand. You can see I'm like forming troops back to back, and it's just my troops left. 3 regiments and my general. These guys are still confident. I wouldn't be confident. I'm forming square just as a last stand. I've got my lights over here, but just a last stand square, and they instantly break. And now all that's left is my general. You can see I rally and inspire the staff, but their morale doesn't budge. And look at that. This is kind of ridiculous how many troops they have left. If we really wanted to win this, I think I should have stayed in the city. I think I should have pushed out and punished the Prussians for abandoning Russia. And then we could have double teamed the Russians. So, yeah, General, he's charging in. I was trying to charge his musketeers over here because I kind of had a chance, but then I changed targets on his lancers. They get a chevron. I don't know why. I guess they were so close. And there we go. General is routed. And let's just fast forward, and yeah. We got, let's see. They killed a lot of my ally. The reason I took these losses was because the artillery was focusing me, I'm pretty sure. Let's check who got the most kills. The Polish Legion. Interesting. I guess I'm pretty sure they were the Legion over here. The Chasseur did good, and the Brave, they did pretty good. Well, anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like down below. Comment your favorite video game. A lot of you are gonna say Fortnite. Just comment your favorite video game. Make sure to subscribe for more content, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.